are 3 different campaign openers. Pick the right one and ignite the spark that will turn into a wildfire. Pick the wrong one and your potion of excitement turns into a sleeping draft. Which will you choose? Let's help you make the right decision. Game prep isn't random brewing, it's chemistry. Better yet, alchemy. And alchemy requires precision, purpose. Game masters, we are playing with volatile elements. Gotta make sure we know how to wield them. So let's review the basics.
Are you sure you want to go for the dodgy chemistry metaphor? You know, considering you went to art school.
Yeah, I'm committing to this bit. Anyway, think of your game as a recipe composed of various elements. These elements could be the type of players at your table, of course, but also the genre, the tone, the duration of each game session, and the level of experience of your players. Meanwhile, game openers are catalysts, aka something that speeds up or precipitates a reaction. Something to kickstart and propel all these elements into an awesome game. There are a few recurring goals for this catalyst. It should introduce the characters, introduce the settings, give momentum, and provide clear goals so that no time is wasted in floating. In theory, that sounds rather straightforward. But in practice, not all elements react equally to the same one catalyst. Let's say your ingredients so far are action-loving players. The moment you drop an elixir of slow burn in there, the entire concoction freezes over. Beginner players might need more explicit goals, one-shot might require a particularly quick introduction, etc. So the perfect way to start a campaign depends on a whole set of variables. It's a bit of a delicate balance, but hopefully you already had a session 0 or you know what kind of elements you're working with. This should make our guesstimations a lot easier. So I'll show you a few of my favorite campaign openers, when to use them and how to use them. Starting with the Action Tonic. As a game master, I am slave to one principle and one principle only: engagement. This catalyst is packed with all that good stuff. It's a quite popular campaign opener and consists in starting the game at full speed in medias res. Right as the game starts, boom, the players are under attack in the middle of a chase scene or any other urgent situation. A glass flies across the room, barely missing your head, and crashes against the wall behind you. You are standing in the midst of a bar fight, engulfed in complete chaos. Chairs are knocked over, punches are thrown in all directions, and patrons are shouting. Right ahead, a burly man is charging full speed towards your group, his face twisted with rage. His fist is already cocked back, and time seems to stretch as it barrels towards your face. What do you do? The Action Tonic reacts particularly well to the following elements: new players, action-heavy games, one-shots, campaigns with relatively short sessions, or players with a relatively short attention span. The most important advantage here is that you are kicking off the game with instant momentum and completely getting rid of the whole early game what should we do confusion. The goal is made explicit and urgent immediately. Escape, attack, survive, defend, urgency. Like I said, this one is one of the more popular game openers, but because it's popular doesn't mean that it doesn't have its subtleties. Let's look at the precautions we should take when handling the Action Tonic and how it reacts to other elements. When playing with fairly new players, the Action Tonic can be a bit of a volatile mixture. Urgent action requires quick thinking, and being unfamiliar with the mechanics can slow it all down and kill momentum. However, when balancing these elements just right, the Action Tonic can serve as a really good tutorial. So why not intentionally build it like a tutorial, introducing new mechanics one by one? Let's say our bar fight is taking place in D&D 5th edition. A fist swings at a player. That's a perfect moment to introduce the concept of armor class. And just a few moments later, we can have them attempt their very first skill check by having them look around them to find something they can use as a weapon. This is a really good interactive way of getting new players familiar with their character sheet and their abilities. Another volatile reaction to watch out for is how the Action Tonic interacts with roleplay lovers. What they are probably most concerned about is whether the introduction gives an accurate portrayal of their character concept. So give your players a way to introduce their character through their actions. The moment you involve a random NPC in distress in that bar fight, the way each character responds to them is going to speak volumes on who they are as a person. A character with a savior trait might try to shield them with their body, whereas an opportunist could attempt to use them as a distraction. Think of it as little dilemmas within the trials of the scene where each player can show who their character really is. But overall, they are game openers much better suited if your primary goal is roleplay, like our next catalyst, the Drama Draught. If you're looking for a game high in drama and character development, this is the right poison for you. This one is where we make it personal. Have you ever heard of the term character vignette? In writing, a vignette is a short but evocative scene which kind of serves as a snapshot into a character's life, personality, or emotional state. It's not giving the full backstory and it's not really advancing the plot. It's just a single moment or slice of life that captures the character's essence and their inner world and their defining traits. And we're going to introduce this concept to our game openers.
Oh no, Val, don't do this.
What?
Do you even know what good writing is?
I think I know at least a little bit about.
I've seen ancient curses more readable than your writing.
Okay, then what do you suggest?
Before you butcher it, let me at least talk about people who actually know what they're doing. Hello, mortals. Do you know Sir Terry Pratchett?
Sir Terry Pratchett was such a good writer that he was knighted for it. He gave us incredible stories such as Nightwatch, Small Gods, or Good Omens, and his world building, oh boy! Discworld is the setting for over 40 of his novels. It's a flat, disc-shaped world carried on the backs of 4 giant elephants, themselves standing on a massive turtle floating through space. And soon you'll be able to play in that world. Converting Sir Pratchett's work into a TTRPG game is no small feat, but Modiphius Entertainment was like, fear? Pfft, don't know her. To be fair, it's not their first rodeo. One of their callings is to adapt our favorite franchises into TTRPG games. Quite accurately to Sir Pratchett's work, the system is built on 2 core principles. 1, the disc has a story it wants to tell, and left alone will spin on much as it has always done. 2, the players want to change this story to one more of their liking. The system actually feels like you're pitted against the forces of the universe, which also have a very British sense of humor. It's super easy to pick up and tightly narrative driven, and definitely encourages puns and wordplay, so if you're down, Discworld is launching on Kickstarter right now. So thank you so much to Modiphius for sponsoring this video and for making this happen. Right, characterness. With the Drama Draught, each character is introduced with their own little scene, kind of creating a collection of character vignettes. So your job as a GM is to kind of design these tailor-made prompts for your players. Let's look at an example. In a coming-of-age game where we play as teenage superheroes, we've got one complete overachiever. Perfect grades, popular, track team, volunteering, fancy clothes. Prompted by the GM, the player relates for everyone their character's morning routine. Doing a round of flashcards, fixing her perfect hair, shoving her superhero mask into her backpack and blowing a kiss to the mirror. Then her phone buzzes, a text from her mom. Sorry love, can't make it home tonight. There's money on the counter for takeout. And just like that, her smile dies down. So how do we actually go about creating those scenes? Here's the list of objectives for each character we have to introduce. Keep it short. The other players shouldn't be kept in the audience seat for too long. Provide the framework for an accurate portrayal of the character that the player will be satisfied with. And tease or foreshadow some of this character's struggles. The best first step is to just talk to your players and ask them each these 2 questions. What's the first impression that you'd like people to have of your character? Are there any secrets you're okay with me hinting at, or any secrets that you absolutely want to save for later? As for actually building the scene itself, I like to go for a 2-step approach. The first part provides a prompt for the player to describe the surface, what we would assume of the character from the first impression. Do not narrate this, just give a prompt to your players and maybe serve as a sounding board, but it's their moment. And at some point in this scene, you can introduce the twist, something to break that first image and give it more depth, giving the player a chance to describe how their character reacts. Cool, but is the Drama Draught the right poison for your game? It might be if you've got some of these elements. Roleplay oriented, a narrative game system, theater kids, slow burn, drama heavy. But maybe stay away from it if you've got these. A one-shot, a fast-paced genre, or shy players. And if it's not working out yet, don't worry, I have another catalyst for you. The plot juice. I'm going to break one big rule of GMing. That rule is that the player characters are always the protagonists or the focus of the scene. With the plot juice catalyst, they aren't even in the scene, just for a short time. What if we started our game like this? Below a small bridge on the banks of the canal, a man wades through filthy waters, searching for anything that could be sold for a small profit. Sure enough, he spots a golden shine in the floating pile of trash. As he reaches for his treasure, he freezes. The shine is that of a golden ring, but attached still to a hand, attached still to a body. bloating and graying below the murky waters. This is how I opened Bloodied Embroidery, a horror murder mystery one-shot that I wrote. Why would I do that? Instead of just telling the players, hey, you all are investigating a bunch of bodies that were found in the river in this one neighborhood, inevitably some games need to start with at least a bit of exposition, and the GM often delivers that information out of character. By the way, when I say out of character, for a GM, I don't necessarily mean talking as an NPC or something. I would consider their narrator voice to be in character, but this is not very interactive. Exposition rarely is. So if we need to provide context to start the game, might as well turn it into some kind of atmosphere-focused transition into the game. Think of the plot juice more as showing them a very short cutscene as opposed to making them read a document. A very short cutscene. The sooner we actually start playing, the better. This also goes with the whole show don't tell advice. Instead of telling the atmosphere, show it. The players now have all the information they need and we can jump straight to the scene at the morgue where they get to see the river bodies and look for clues. River bodies. It is a particularly good catalyst in the following situations. With plot-driven games, especially those that focus on genre. Horror and mystery genres, for example, thrive on good atmosphere and on setting the tone right from the start. Imagine a murder mystery game where the first scene is the last minutes alive of the soon-to-be victim. Without spoilers, of course, but maybe a couple of clues, something bizarre and unsolved, some kind of appetizer for the horrors to come. It's also good for games that you can't tailor to the players. Like for example, if you're running for a convention or if you're writing a module. The plot juice opener is just a fantastic way to bring everyone on the same page. Now, of course, there are some elements that don't react super well with the plot juice. Don't go for this one if you're aiming for a very fast-paced game. This kind of opening needs a group that can appreciate the setup before going into the action. And if you haven't found the right catalyst for your game, time to get experimental. We've talked ingredients, but like any good alchemist knows, the real trick isn't just the elements, it's the dosage. The good news is you can mix and match. At the end of the day, all good game openers are trying to achieve the same goals. The real difference is how much of each element you prioritize. Catalysts can be combined, blended, and adapted. It's all about finding the right balance. You can crank one up all the way. My Heist game opener is basically an Action Tonic taken way to the extreme, giving the players blueprints and setting a 10-minute timer where they have to very quickly pick some gadgets and figure out their action plan. Or you can combine several catalysts. Maybe you were going for a plot juice opener because you don't know the players you're going to be running this for, but you still want to encourage them to roleplay? Awesome, you can prep little papers to give to them so they can each have a little secret at the start of the game. The important part is this: all good game openers have a little bit of everything. Momentum, character, plot, and goals, but how much of each is where the magic lies. To be entirely honest, when you're a game master, I think it's really important to allow yourself to throw at the wall and see what sticks. It's how you learn, by experimenting. Similar to alchemy, you mix different substances, see what happens, and record the results. And the very best concoctions come from the most surprising combinations where the unexpected becomes unforgettable. So on this note, have a good evening, and may your experiments not cause a world-ending explosion.